Make sure it's started. Alright. Okay.
I was getting 68.
What year was this?
Huh?
What year was this?
63 to 68. You guys see us in the college? Yeah, man. You remember the X-Men? That's the X-Men you watched. Good old X-Men. Good old X-Men. One man missing. Santo Frank. Santo Frank, right now, I want you to Jones.
Welcome to this, our first annual dinner and award ceremony of our Old Boys Alumni Association. I am particularly proud to be here with us tonight as president, as elected president of the association. I'm proud to hold that post, and I must say that over the past hour I've been milling around here with friends and past students of the college. I feel an even greater sense of pride when I look around and see the many faces of illustrious men who would have passed through this college and now form part of our alma mater, or Alumni Association. Friends, as you know, we all share a very common bond. Regardless of what period of time we were here, whether it was very early days or thereafter, we all share that special bond of being past students of our college. And I know that we all have memorable days, regardless of our times, memorable days of our boyhood days here at this college, the days when we would form part and parcel of this landscape that we now call Holy Cross College, or is known as Holy Cross College. As a matter of fact, I was speaking earlier, and I was just in conversation with one of the gentlemen here today who was indicating to me that he was from down the hill and came up to the college, so he was from very early, and there are quite a few of us here today who would have been at those times. And while speaking to him, I could actually feel goose pimples raising on my hands. You know, and I reflected on about 2 weeks ago when a similar thing happened, when I had called Jones P., who is here with us tonight, Jones P. Madeira, and we hadn't spoken for quite a while, but we were in conversation on the telephone, and the topic was about dysfunction, and Jones P. went off on a kind of tangent and started to tell me about the days of, the very early days of down the hill and then coming up, and when they had memorable times with the various priests and teachers of that era and so on. And friends, I could have really felt the sentiments coming through that telephone. And again, I must say, it gives me great pleasure to be here and to be part of that whole thing. Our Alumni Association is about developing and maintaining a fellowship, a camaraderie amongst the past students of Holy Cross College. As Holly said earlier, there have been a few attempts in many years gone by, and I would not want to even think of them as failures. I consider ourselves to still be in our embryonic or formative stages of development as an association. And those very early attempts would have set certain pillars in place upon which we, this present executive, is committed to adding probably a few more pillars and then stabilizing the base from which this association can move forward in time as we go along developing our fellowship, that togetherness and that goodwill that we all want to share as being part and parcel of the landscape of Holy Cross College. This present executive, which was formalized earlier this month, was really pulled together a few months ago, about 7 months ago, after probably about 3 years of dormancy of the association. Pulled together, and someone very instrumental in pulling us together is our current principal, the current principal of the college, Mr. Ram Logan, and for that we are always thankful. And we got together a few months ago and decided, friends, here we are again, we're going to give this thing another try. We're going to give this thing another try. And after formalizing ourselves a few weeks ago, we, the present executive, came up with 3 guiding objectives, which I am sure would have been the essence of many attempts before, but we thought that we would formalize it and make it known to the groupings, or in meetings and groupings as we come together here, of what we are really about. What we are really about. Our objective take a threefold kind of composition. One, we are here to foster amongst past students of Holy Cross College a spirit of fellowship and loyalty to their alma mater. Many of the things that we have done in the past has that as one of our guiding objectives, one of the reasons as to why we congregate and pull ourselves together, sharing some of the sentiments of long ago. This is one of the objectives that is the essence of all those things we do. The second objective is to provide the means of social intercourse and mutual assistance to its members, ourselves, for their individual, mental, and moral benefit. All right, again, when we come together, one of the things we always strive to do, apart from meeting and speaking of the old days, is to become familiar with each other. And we will find that as we go along our different ways in life, we will no doubt bounce up one another in different walks of life and other past students of Holy Cross College, for which we can either extend a hand or to which a hand can be extended. And our third objective is to keep past students of the college in close association with its present students for their mutual benefit. That again goes a long way, gentlemen, in keeping the essence of our association going. As I said before, many of our undertakings are guided by these objectives. Our association will want to continue at least having functions and celebrations and togetherness of this nature at least once or twice every year. This present executive is committed to ensuring that in stabilizing the base, we formulate certain plans and strategies that whether or not we are here in a few years' time, whoever may be holding the executive post of the association will continue to celebrate certain functions on an annual or probably biannual basis. We are financially very weak, and our only definite stream of revenue really, and that again is lingering because we have to pick up the slack on that, is our membership fees, which we ask at and take all opportunities to ask for at various meetings and gatherings. It's just $10 per member per year. We have had cases of old boys standing in various meetings, even just recently, just for the organization, as a matter of fact, for this function, and making real significant contributions, for which the association is very thankful. Not all of us, some of us or rather are more fortunate than others, and we would hope that... I want to urge you to continue in your small efforts and in participating in whatever the association organizes. Whether or not you are here with us on a monthly basis, I know some of us have more commitments that will not allow that
Thank you very much, fellow ex-pupils. Now, I would just like to reinforce I am going to be introducing the head table and all our specially invited guests. Now, I'll start with the head table. Father Foley was principal of this school during the period 1959 to 1978. So that's a couple of decades well there. Next is Portius James, president of our Old Boys Association. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
But I am thankful for small mercies, and I've been asked to say a few words. And therefore I thought I would bring a book and read a few things for you. I'm very happy to be here this evening and to have taken over a school from Father Foley with such eminent people like you as past students. I have with me a book that was made to mark our 25th anniversary. And in it, we had the list of our first registered intake. And I am happy to see some of you here tonight who were from that first list that registered in September 1957. I know that some of you don't want people to know you in the first list. But I am just going to go through those names very quickly. And we have had even grandchildren come through this school already from that first list. The list was in alphabetical order, and it is as follows: Joseph Ali, Muraldin Ali, Joseph Ahing, Joseph Akau, Thomas Antoine, Marcel Auguste, Carl Augustin, Anson Blackman, Augustine Casa. Ah, we got somebody. Good. Very good. Louis Castillo, Clarence Césaire, Anthony Shallery, Winston Chase, Carol Connor, Selwyn Creville, Carly Cummings, Alvin Dardine, Camp Dean, Donald De Freitas, Fred De Freitas, Leon De Vertai, I hope I pronounced that correctly, but I know that somebody from that name is here. Maruin, very good, Valva. James Marchong, Clyde Marlin, Eden Rose, Keith Reese, Kelvin Semple, Kenneth Skinner, Lennox Songui, or Songi, oh, Lennox Subero. Vernon's son was one of the first, second generation here. Stephen Wade, Kennedy Walcott, Michael Waldron, Lawrence Wire, Clyde Wellington, Nello Welch, Terry Williams, Anthony Williams, and Winston Woods. I also know that we have a few students who left only last year. I can't remember who they are. For the money to be spent on things for the school. And with the 32% or so floating devaluation or what have you, we therefore have gone down in the kind of things that we could get for $7,000. So we depend a lot on you. I don't want to sound like Portia's begging too much. I'll leave that to him. I will address my begging in for the other quarters, as you all know, some of you are parents at the PTA. Again, many thanks, and I look forward to us meeting more regularly. Thank you.
One very important thing, because we jumped from one thing to the next. One very important thing that just like to serious to back to for those of you who are we just like to take a moment to bless the food. Table 6.
We're on number 1 in the musical item, so here we go. Good evening, everybody, again, anyway. And it was a very small college in my time, but I'm glad to see they're extending the college now. And people in my time used to say, you know, it was an awful small college. But I'm looking out there, some of the cars out there on the grass, and say, some of them have done very well. And if anybody has walked up the hill tonight, by the way, we'll give you a drop back, you know. Really, it really is. It's incredible, because actually all the fellas I taught, they're driving the biggest cars outside, by the way. Well, somebody did bring up this thing about the music festival. I forget what year it was. We have a picture taken over there by the steps, which we all have. Where are they now? Some of them are here, by the way. They can even remember some of the songs they sang at the time. Bessie the Black Cat, and wonderful piece of music like that, you know what I mean? And but I remember well, I think the piece, I think that we had for the festival at the time, I think it was, if I remember correctly, I think it was called The Crocodile. Was that it, was it? You remember? You're PS, you're in the photograph.
Is that right?
Yeah, but the Crocodile had a very interesting little, not I was going to say genesis, but I suppose sort of evolving thing, you know. When we see, I always had a problem, you know, I sort of inherited people from the boys' RC school down in Arima with Gerald Davis, or David, sorry for pardon me. And they used to sing very well, but when they made that transition up here up to the hill, they say, well, I can't sing, you know, oh God, I can't sing, man. And there's a fellow over there, he says, do you remember the day you called me in and said, do, re, mi? And he said, do what? Don't ask me now, don't ask me. He said, don't ask me, don't ask me. So at least he learned something down the hill, let me tell you. Do ask me, re, mi. Anyway, we did get a choir together under tremendous duress, and this festival thing came up, and I think the Crocodile was the thing. So we used to be inside in that music room there, I think with Miss Quinton, yes, was the lady, and we were hammering away at the Crocodile, and little pieces there, and we got the impression after a while, see, that to get this piece of music across, that you had really, you know, to open your mouth like a crocodile, you know, and make all kinds of signs and all kinds of sounds and all kind of. But we weren't really getting the thing that we wanted, you see. So it was then suggested that we go to people who knew more about music than me. And there was a nun down in St. Joseph's Convent, and she was very good at music, very good. So we brought the choir down. And she was saying, now boys, you know, you've got to open your mouth, you know, like a crocodile. And she says, and I had no doubt there were fellas in the choir who could very well open their mouth like a crocodile, I could tell you. With us, when they stood in front of the people, they just couldn't do it, Anyways, the nun was yes, and anyway, afterward, we got tremendous results, and they were really singing very well. But the problem was, we went into Queen's Hall, you see, and we won. The next thing was, anyway, who did we come up? We won, and then we got for the championship, and we went in for the championship. Next thing, we win the championship. And what did the nun start bawling out now? All them big fellas you haven't acquired, they all over age, you know. Now she started bawling out. You see the size of them fellas there? They can't be 14. Them fellas are 16 and 17. Like you pack your choir. But you see, you can't win, huh? Well, at least we did, but you can't win. And then when Trevor Garcia is here, and Trevor was such a lovely little fella at the time, you know. Trevor is here. He's still a nice boy. So, anyway, Trevor was chosen because he looked nice, dress up nice and thing, you know. And he was chosen to go up for the cup. And then people were going to say, but why you choose this? Why you choose Trevor? You know, all that kind of business. But anyway, so when we came back, it was only actually after I want to tell you this, though, when they're talking about it tonight, it was only after we got back to the college that there was some ripple of excitement about the cup at all, in spite of what other people might say. You know, it was a struggle of over. But that's just a memory, you know what I mean, of those days. I'm very happy to remember it well. Actually, they brought me up here. I have sung in many places. I mean, in some of the biggest theaters in the world. I've never been asked to sing in a place like this. I mean, yes, and I know how all of you are built in the classical mold, you know what I mean? So, I tell you, I have real problems up here, huh? No. Acoustics and everything else. And no accompaniment and nothing, you know. I mean, Actually, with all the handouts tonight, I was told I was getting a non-real degree from Holy Cross College. There's Foley still up to his tricks, huh? Yes, I'm ring the old bell. But anyway, so, I mean, truthfully, I mean, now that I just say it's very nice to be here, you know what I mean? And just to meet, truthfully, we have met for 25 or 30 years, huh? I was just telling Charles Dewani there, I thought I met one of the mobs. He won't mind me saying this now, but there was a young boy came out there and he trying to get me to park me car straight. And I looked at him, I said, listen, is your name Dewani? He said, yes. Well, my God, I said, look at that. And well, I said, thank me, for you being here tonight, because it's I used to try to teach your father up there inside in the school, way back in them days. Wasn't that amazing? Just looking at him, just a chip off the old block. I said, well, thank God for that too, huh? Thank God for that, we can say that. All right, so by way of, what would you like? The bass man in your head or some... It was suggested we sing the old Rugged Cross, by the way, but I mean... if you're feeling just dutifully religious tonight, by the way, that's all right too, you know what I mean? Or, you know... Oh, what's that? Oh, wait. Oh, somebody said we can do something religious? Take up a collection? Yes, our options are unlimited, by the way, so I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, I mean, what is it? You know, we can sing love songs, we can all kinds of things, There's no shortage, right? I would sing something for you. I said that, I suppose some people have heard me sing before. I said... Yes, well, the thing is, I was to teach them long ago, you know, to get your diaphragm working, by the way, for those... Navas? You listening? Once they're way back and says, Navas, I had him nearly gone up for the tenor solo in Queen's Hall, and the last minute the man back out of the whole thing. I said, but he come tonight, boy, like he developed that diaphragm is right, yes? So anyway, I don't know what by way of memory, I don't know what it is, you know. If I get an encore, of course, I could sing, you know. La-da-da-dee-da, la-da-da-dum. How does that sound, by the way? A double F, yes. Well, the key of G. The bells are ringing for me and my girl. Yeah, I could sing a little thing for you, you know, that, I have to say much before I'm off the podium. My heart is broken, but what care I? Some pride inside me has spoken. I'll try my best not to cry by and by when the final farewell must be spoken. I'll join the Legion, that's what I'll do. And in some far distant region where human hearts are staunch and true, I will start my life anew. Goodbye, it's time I sought a foreign clime where I may find their hearts more kind than I leave behind. And so I go to fight the savage foe, although I know I'll be sometimes missed by the girls I've kissed. In some Abyssinian French dominion I will do my bit and fall for the flag if I must. Where the desert sand is nice and handy, I'll be full of grit. You won't see my heels for the dust. I'll do or die, you'll know the reason why when told of boldly opposed last stand for the fatherland. Goodbye, goodbye, I wish you all the last goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, I wish you all the last goodbye. Perhaps love is like a resting place, a shelter from the storm. It invites you to come closer. It wants to keep you warm. And in those times of trouble, when you are most alone, the memories of love will bring you home. Perhaps love is like a window, perhaps an open door. It invites you to come closer. It wants to show you more. And even if you lose yourself and don't know what to do, the memories of love will bring you through. Oh, love to some is like a cloud, to some as strong as steel. For some a way of living, for some a way to feel. And some say love is holding on, and some say letting go. And some say love is everything, and some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean, full of conflict, full of pain, like a fire when it's cold outside, or thunder when it rains. If I should live forever and all my dreams come true, my memories of love will be of you. La 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 la. La 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 la. And some say love is holding on, and some say letting go, and some say love is everything, and some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean, full of conflict, full of pain, like a fire when it's and all my dreams come true. My memories of love will be of you.
Okay, in the early 1970s, a sprinter from Arima, Charles Joseph, returned from the United States and was boasting at the savannah down the road about the times he was setting at the various athletic meets across the United States. And one of the young men in the line stopped him and said, "Hold on. I can tell you about a 4 by 100 meter relay. You running for Arima Secondary and a certain young man running for Holy Cross College in that relay, the final 100 meters. What happened was Mr. Joseph got the baton ahead of the Holy Cross student, running in all his athletic garb, track boots, and so forth. But there was this young man from Holy Cross College, barefooted, running the final leg, getting the baton after him. That young man was not Hazley Crawford. He was Hilary Angelo Gomes. Larry, as he's affectionately known by all of us, was born on the 13th of July, 1953, the sixth of 10 children of Cecil and Kimlan Gomes, and attended Holy Cross College during the years 1964 to 1969. At college, Larry started as a batsman and a spinner, and only became a medium-pace bowler when the college was unable to find somebody to accompany his elder brother, Gregory, on the other end of the pitch to open the bowling. And that only happened because he was a team man. This change, in fact, cost him a place to be called up for Trinidad and Tobago in the trials. In fact, his chance went to another student of this very college, Clyde Alley. Larry was an all-rounder. He represented the college at cricket, football, and athletics, and performed with distinction in each discipline. However, as we all know, it was at cricket that he excelled. He made his debut for Trinidad and Tobago against New Zealand in 1972. He played for Middlesex during the years 1971 to 1976. He made his test debut for the West Indies in 1976 in England against the English. He represented the West Indies from 1976 to 1987, making a total of 9 test centuries for 1 run. He said, "That is the score at the Oval. The team batting is the West Indies. It is not the price of Paradise Plum or hops bread. It is the score. West Indies batting 3 wickets for 1 run, not 3 runs for 1 wicket. Sitting in the pavilion were Gordon Greenwich, Desmond Haynes, and Vivian Richards. Larry Gomes and his captain, 2 left-handers of contrasting style, then started to take the West Indies out of a very sticky wicket. At the end of his innings of 123, one that lasted 7 hours and 25 minutes, facing a total of 333 balls, Larry completed a memorable and his only century at Port of Spain. Of an innings also of 91, we'd like to ask Mr. John Young to come up, please.
Head table here. Tonight, it's a very special occasion for me. And I feel very proud to be here with you all tonight. To receive this plaque here on the first Holy Cross Old Boys Association dinner and award ceremony. I know there are a lot of guys out there who deserve it also. But I think this award here tonight really creamed it off throughout my whole cricketing career. this plaque here will be one of my prized possessions at home. I hope that my performances for the West Indies team and also for the national team would have brought you all some sort of pride and happiness being an old boy of Holy Cross College. I think this is where I started, and I'm very grateful for Holy Cross and especially Father Foley, who is here with us here tonight. We also have the present West Indies team, Phil Simmons, who is also past student of Holy Cross College. And we should all feel very proud in Philip's performances and success as he goes on. But I would also like to make a plea here tonight on behalf of the Old Boys Association here. I think it's a wonderful idea to have this going on. But I think they'll need your support and both financially and and so I truly endorse what they're trying to do, and to me this is a wonderful occasion for me. I must thank you all for having me here tonight and being the first recipient of this award in the field of sport. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those very kind words, Max. I certainly won't be able to do the push-ups that Jack Palance did on the Oscar ceremony 2 years ago on his knuckles. I don't have that athletic ability. I really feel honored here this evening. Up to now, it has been a fantastic evening, and I'm sure it will continue in that vein. When I came to Holy Cross in 1960, in May 60, we were supposed to come in January 1960, but there were no benches for the students to sit on. So it was delayed until May 1960. And when we came, we actually sat on benches that were made from slabs of wood resting on bricks. And we had a number of very young teachers, as Max mentioned, John Young, Jerry Hospitales. young at the time, still young, forever young. Geoff Jatan and a number of others, Don Bayo, a number of very, very dedicated teachers who saw to it that we had a very varied life at Holy Cross. I remember us coming on Mondays and we had to come in our white suits to attend Mass at the church before we came up to start classes. The sports field, of course, was on the other side, near to the same guy, Lenny, and his daughter. And I think he exaggerates, though, my athletic ability in those days. My claim to fame in that area is that I once played for Holy Cross with Sheldon Gomes, another of the great Gomes cricketers. I did afterwards excel in billiards, and I think I was the youngest player who played for Trinidad. I think so. I think that's what it. But you know what they say about young people who excel at billiards? It's evidence of a wasted youth. One of the great guys said that. I don't know who it is. I would like to thank all of you here this evening for coming out here and making it such a wonderful occasion. I definitely agree with young Holly, if I may call him that, Junior, that it's the greatest combination of Tommy Joseph and Mario Lanza I saw here this evening. I thoroughly enjoyed Father Brennan's his performance, his rendering, as one of the guys at the table said when he was asked to render the song. There are many other people who I remember very clearly at Holy Cross. All the names that Max spoke about, Louis Gonzalez, he's in Montreal now, by the way. I go to Montreal pretty often, you heard and how he, as a priest and an engineer, could literally build this college almost with his bare hands. And I'd really like to say how grateful I am to Father Foley for being that role model. And I think it is him more than anybody else who inspired me to be an engineer, despite the fact that I never did any science subject at Holy Cross here. So once again, thank you, Father Foley, and thank you everybody here tonight.
And having, in the midst of that national drama we had, a colleague of the same era, and knowing the guy, he said he dead again. However, Jones succeeded in coming out of that drama alive. And I learned afterwards that he played an important role, a very important role, as a mediator. Actually, he was trying to save his own life, he said. And was given a citation by the Express in its annual Individual of the Year award ceremony the year after. Then I realized, thinking back, that Jones' role as mediator in that event came straight from the school, Holy Cross College here, where he would mediate many times when there were fights. And I remember him in one occasion with myself. His term was, boys, all the behave all yourself now, man. Right? And I realized that all the practice he had at Holy Cross in trying to make peace in the various altercations paid off. He saved his life. As I said, Jones' bio was superbly written on this document. I need not go into that. Carefully trying to get us all to behave, to be peaceful, and to just do our work. I don't think I have anything more to say about Jones. Jones, I'm happy that you're honored here tonight, and I wish you would come up and receive your plaque.
Father Foley to come up, please.
All right, boys, hold the beer, hold yourself, huh? Yes, and that is a spirit that's multifaceted. It's a spirit of Holy Cross past, it's a spirit of Holy Cross present, and it's a spirit of Holy Cross future. The spirit of Holy Cross past is a mixture of sadness, and it's one of tremendous joy. Let me not dwell on the sadness, but let me dwell on the joy for a minute. And I think when I was speaking to Portius some time ago, I mentioned one thing that always sticks out in my mind when I think of my time here. And that was together with, I think it was Robert McCarthy, who is sitting there with me, our wire, Lawrence Henderson, who I tried to get here tonight, but unfortunately he gave his word to be elsewhere, Desmond Dulam, I think I remember, and a couple others. We were told that the tractors were going to be coming up here to grade this ground to build this college. And we had a habit in those days to scream for a half day. And we would get it. We'd begin to call half day, and we would get that half day. And we got that half day, and we decided to make a river line. The basin was just somewhere behind there. And we came up the Calvary Hill onto these grounds, and there was the tractor. And I remember taking one of the first stones and throwing it onto this ground, and how magnificent it is today. That is one of the aspects of Holy Cross past. That's a joyous part. There's a sad part, and that resides in people like Peter Cades, who passed away, one of the first boys who did, and people like Bali Mirage, who also passed away, and who in his own way had a vision of granting every single student of this school scholarships to the United States. Where he got that vision from, I don't know. But he had in his mind a type of grandiose idea that this school will produce some great people. Unfortunately, he never lived to see some of the greats come out of it. I dedicate part of this to his memory, and to people like Selwyn Crevel, and a couple others who passed away. I don't remember the names now, but there are a few, and I think we should remember them as well. I think we should remember Father Camden, who started it all. I think we should remember Father McNamara, who was here with us, Father Kavanagh, Father Leahy, who loaned me his recorder to allow me to begin my career in broadcasting, Mr. Young, Mr. John, who I understand has passed away, Mr. Solomon. There are so many others, but that was Holy Cross past. Holy Cross present is for the youngsters who are here and who obviously will play their part to bring out names like Larry and Phil, Simmons I'm talking about, and Clem, and with all humility, if I've done anything to deserve this, myself. And the Holy Cross of the future, well, I'm not a prophet, but I know that there are great things ahead. I feel honored. Thank you. I can't give any reward except to say I'll pay my subscription and remain a member. Thank you very much.
That means. They said about Mr. Young, some people said that he is still young, but I also heard that he's young, but not so young. Mr. Young was one of the people who, without realizing it, on one rainy day at Holy Cross, set me on the road to becoming a priest. And I have mentioned this to him before. You see, there is more good in Mr. Young than you realize. I believe that our class was one of the first classes that he had when he came to teach at Holy Cross. And so was our class one of the first classes that Father Foley had when he came to teach at Holy Cross and to be principal. We were the first group that was taken into the college at that time, where we spent 1 month or 1 term at the annex, so I should say in the garage down the hill. Receiving an award here tonight makes me feel very proud of Holy Cross. Receiving this award makes me also realize that when we set out on our journey in life, we really do not know where that first step that we take is going to lead us. Father Jarlath Tom Cleary was the priest at Holy Cross who pulled me out of the classroom one day and said to me, "I heard you would like to become a priest." And I think it was John Young who had given him the hint. He said, "Is that true?" And you know, I was very young at that time. And I said, yes, since I was 7 years of age, I wanted to become a priest. And I never told anybody this. But apparently some of the students at Holy Cross had worked that one out. And that was the beginning of the journey. It started right here at Holy Cross. And like a boomerang, I have returned. Never did I think at that time that I would be a bishop. Never did I ever plan to be a bishop. And if I if I had known what being a bishop is all about, and you had to plan your life for it, I wouldn't. Not because of the challenge, I'm always ready for a challenge, but it is a great responsibility. And I was very happy as a Dominican, as a priest. Where they have put me now is really calling me to give all that I ever said I wanted to give and be and become everything, and to suffer as part of it. But I realize that all this is part of the journey. And we are dealing with religion. And sometimes we look at religion as something for the altar, or in the chapel, or reading the Bible. And all these are good things, and they are religious. But religion is life, is worship, is God with us. And I see myself as his spokesman and as his servant, and called to serve in the church and in our society, in our region, in our Caribbean. The way I see myself is to be a person of integration, person who's ready to work with others and call others to unity. And I believe that that is the dream of Christ for us. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a new diocese. It's a very young church, and I'm the first bishop of this diocese. And I believe that's why the challenge is probably even greater for me there. But one of the things I have noticed is that I'm now entering into my 4th year as bishop. And I believe that I'm beginning to find my way. And I'm beginning to hear the cries of my people. And the Lord is giving me the courage and the boldness to respond to those cries. And I respond presently to these cries that come from the conditions in our society where there is so much aggression and anger and hurt And I found myself championing with others in the society a national committee against violence, and I've been called to be the chairperson of that. And I realize that we have a big task ahead of us. On Easter Sunday, I was asked to give a message to the nation, and I found myself, as I prayed and prepared for that message, that we needed to do something about life. And we started a Suicides Anonymous in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
First of all, let me say thank you very much for inviting me here. You know, I was really thrilled, or chuffed, as they say in Ireland now. Do you ever heard that word? Chuffed or something like that. That's when somebody does something for you, you know. When I got the call saying there was a function coming up. Are you hearing me? Not loud enough, is it? Right, speak into the mics as you're right. Telling me of this function and saying that I would be very welcome if I could come, and offering to pay my fare all the way from Ireland. Not Egypt, by the way, if you get the reference. So I'm here, and it's really been a wonderful evening for me, I must say. You know, meeting all of you, hearing how you are, what you've done, where you are in life, what you've achieved, and how very well many of you have done. And when I say that, I should add, you know, that sometimes we judge people by the kind of jobs they have, what they've achieved and all that, and those are the ones that have done well. But you see, I think it's not quite the right way to look at things, you know, that those are the ones who've done well. Because I think anyone who's done his best has done well. And there are so many things to be done in our society that we don't want all academics, for example. We don't want everybody excelling in sport. We want a variety of people. We can't run society except we have people in all sorts of jobs. So I like to think that everybody who has gone through Holy Cross College has done well. Now, I said I had a confession to make. Did I say that? Yes. Well, it is that I really haven't done my homework. Yes. You see, I wasn't quite sure. I spoke to Mr. Ram Logan just to try and get the feel of the whole thing, what it would all be about. And we chatted away, and I thought I had it. So I wrote out a few notes here. I have them here. They're useless now, really, because it's the wrong homework, you know. Because Portius James ran through a lot of what I was going to say. You know, I was going to say a little bit about the Past Pupils Association, you know, and just comments on it, how it started way back in 1964. He didn't mention that, I should tell you. It started in 64. They got me out of the country at the time. I was away on holidays in Ireland, and Father Murphy and Father Cleary decided to get the thing going. And it started off, but it didn't survive, shall we say. It had to be started again. A bit like the Grand National, you know. Any of you watching the Grand National this year? They had a couple of starts on it, you know. So it had to be revived, and I think it's that kind of thing. However, it's underway now, so let me not spend too much time just talking about that. Just one little thing about it, by the way, you know, that if it's going to work, if I might just say something without sort of telling you what to do, if it's going to work, you've got to own it. It's got to be yours. And you've got to put your effort into it. And you've got to run it. See, Mr. Ramlogan is just triggering it off. But I think he would be the first to admit that he's got quite enough to do. And that this is something for the past pupils themselves to do, put their effort into it. And if you do that, you know, there's tremendous potential in the past pupils. And I say that because there's sort of a natural bonding of people who've been at the one school. And I could sense it here tonight. Isn't it wonderful to meet others who've been at school with you? And I think no matter where you go, if you meet a past pupil from Holy Cross anywhere in the world, don't you feel that affinity, that bond with them? That is the important thing. That's the basic thing. That's there, whether you like it or not, it's there. And that's why you're all here tonight. And you wouldn't have got in here, by the way, excepting you were from Holy Cross. I heard Mr. Navas on the phone tonight telling somebody, no, you can't come, he said. You can't come. You ain't from Holy Cross. So it's got to be your thing. Own it and be responsible for it. Help, all right, from the principal and from others, but if you don't sort of put your effort into it, if you're waiting for something to be done for you, it's going to collapse. But if you put your effort into it and take total responsibility for it, then it will succeed. See, what really, of course, all the other efforts, as Portia said, or somebody said, you know, they weren't failures. Each start achieved something. But I think all that's lacking is a continuity. Isn't that it? Just a continuity from one year to the next. Keeping it going, that's what you have to do. And it requires effort. Your effort. And it's got to be yours, because if it's not yours, it won't ring true. I want to say something about how I felt tonight meeting people. You know, first of all, I felt completely accepted, you know, and I thought, you know, people were talking to me about the old days here, and, you know, I thought some were just mentioning, you know, you were tough in the old days. By the way, two characters, shall we say. They're not exactly, no, they're not human. We never got any recognition here tonight. Oh, one of you mentioned one of them to me, and that was Billy Bamboo. You remember him? And then there was Purple Heart. Can you remember Purple Heart? And you know, those who've been honoured tonight, you know, they cost us an awful lot of sweat and blood. You wouldn't realise it. And the bishop now, he wouldn't be wearing that little purple cap that he has, except he got a few doses of Purple Heart during his... But you know, it was gratifying to feel accepted here and to feel forgiven. You know, that there won't be any, that I won't be brought up for any war crimes. Now people ask me, you know, what's the secret of keeping so young? Looking so young. You know, you haven't changed. Well, thank you for the compliment. But I think really the explanation is I got out in time. I took early retirement and went down to work in the parish here in Arima, keeping up a link with Holy Cross, all right, but out of the firing line, out of the hassle. Just one or two things. You know, I learned an awful lot here in Holy Cross. This is not what I prepared a lot. This is something completely different, you know, because all I had prepared is said already. But I learned a lot in Holy Cross. I was taught from the very beginning. And I can remember just one thing, and it's a little sad as I recollected when I only heard just tonight, just a few moments ago, that Ballymarage had died. And it saddened me, because he was quite a character in the early days here, And he always had great ideas of what the college could be. But I can remember I wasn't long. I took over from Father Candon. I came here in September of '59, and I took over from Father Candon in December the 18th. I remember the date well. But I can remember too that Father Candon was a little bit more gentle than I was, you know. And he had a little bit of a switch, which was a laughable piece of a thing, you know. And the fellows were really laughing at it. So I decided that had to be sort of redressed somewhat, you know. And I proceeded to arm myself adequately. And Barry took me aside quietly one day, you know, when school was over. He just drew me. He was only a lad of 14 at the time. Drew me aside quietly, and he said, you know, he said, you're new here. You mightn't understand us, Trinidadians. You know, he said, we're not used to corporal punishment. So I didn't seem to be taking that too seriously. Well, he said, I think you should know, you know, that not so long ago, in another school in Arima, a pupil drew a knife on the principal. So I said, is that so? It is, he said, and I think, you know, you should watch that. So I said, I said, there's nothing like having a martyr if you want to sort of get anywhere with a cause. Have a martyr. So I said, I don't mind dying, you know. So I think he gave up after that. He saw that. But anyhow, let me just finish up by thanking you all very much for inviting me and for the opportunity, because I think it's not what was said up here that mattered tonight. You know, things have to be said all right. We have to say things when we're honouring people. We have to have a little rundown, little formality. But I think the main thing tonight was achieved just in talking to each other. Isn't it true? And that's what it was for me, just meeting you. Meeting you again, because a few times I was here, I met very few. And I met such a number tonight. And it's really been a joy to have been here with you. So thank you very much.
It is signed. Who is it signed? Okay, it's another past student signed by Phil Simmons, and it's been presented to Mr. Amlugan. Now I know many of you wish that you would have such a bat. We will discuss that at another point, how you can get this bat. Okay, the other thing is my favorite. We have one, all right. You paid, all right, we have one who paid. Is there another one? Don't bring the whole chair, just bring.
Through, please feel free to stay back, buy yourself a drink and buy me one too, and let's have a good time. The morning is still young. Would you all please stand? We treat this as an anthem. Come give me a good note. Where's Ricardo? Come here. With hope and faith and unity, our task we face with pride, to conquer all deservingly, all failures set aside. But should we falter, lose our stride, this grace is not ours for long. For in every earnest enterprise, The failure makes you strong. Through measures of renowned success, we search these walls to find of Holy Cross, a beacon for mankind.
Thank you very much. We would like to have a couple of photographs of the 4 recipients and members at the head table. So would the recipients please come to the head table and the photographer will be available. Please stay and enjoy yourselves and have a safe journey back home if you have to go right away or whenever you're going.